Hi, I'm Lika. I'm a Port 2 speedrunner, Twitch streamer, and I make YouTube videos. And I've been getting asked questions lately about why I like the speedrun and what's appealing to people about it. And since I don't know those answers, I thought, why don't I ask people who know more about the game and more about speedrunning? So I interviewed my friend Killer and two well-known Port 2 speedrunners, being BSSDRVN and Msushi. These hard-hitting questions that I don't know the answers to. Because I am fairly new to this. Like I just said, I speedrun Portal 2, and I also do Portal Glitchless, which is just a Portal speedrun, but without glitches. I normally do that only as a backup. By the way, it's more either if I'm bored of Portal 2 or I'm just taking a break in general, because Portal 2 can annoy me to no end sometimes, but that's mostly my fault. Anyway, that's what we're here for. We're here for speedrunning content. What I mean by that is, what is speedrunning? That's a question that's hard to answer for me. Speedrunning is just the way I normally just answer it to people is do game fast, but the way developers did not intend it. So some games have certain things that are just to them, being say GTA's curb boosting, which I'm pretty sure isn't just to them, but that's why I know it from. Portal 1, our main movement mechanic besides using portals is bunny hopping. But that's pretty standard throughout most games. Another really big mechanic that you can find at speedrunning is frame rolls in the original Mario Bros. That I have no clue how those work, but they have an entire wiki page on Know Your Meme. So feel free to look those up because they are confusing. Before we keep going with the video, I have to thank my friend Killer and BSSDRVN and Msushi for helping me out with this video, as they had no obligation to. They just did it out the kindness in their hearts. So if you enjoy this video, or if you just want to see what they're like, which you will soon, but after this, in a regular circumstance, you can find their Twitch and YouTube, if they have it. They're respectable platforms down in the description. Check them out, they're great people. Seriously. Without further ado, I have interviews to conduct.
Yeah, I'm BSSDRVN.
Yeah, my name's Killer.
My name is Msushi.
Like what made you like? I know you said like you were like 100%er, and it brought a new challenge to it. Was there like something specific or someone that like you really looked at and like I could do that?
You know, I don't think there was ever actually like a catalyst for me. Like it was I picked up Portal 2 as one of like my first like games that I would play every now and again, and after I finished it, you know, 3-4 times, for me, I think it might have been around the time that Znernicus got his 10401 in that category.
Yeah.
And that was like 2015 or 2014, something like that. But I remember that video in all of its, 480p glory. That was the one that went viral on YouTube. And so you get to a point where you're reaching so many people, there's going to be that influx of runners, and I'm still amazed by the amount of runners that show up even today because of those Znernicus videos, the amount of tutorial videos, the ease of access, that SGDQ run.
Yeah, that everyone knows the cube throw.
And a funny bit, but I always like to think about when I started doing it. I think it might have been because of that Znernicus video. I think it might have been I just noticed it and I was like, huh, that's pretty cool. But I had also played it 6 or 7 times and I was like, what if I tried to do this fast?
And I started speedrunning with my friend on Catapult. That's their co-op app. Basically, we did it on challenge mode and like, oh, that's really fun. Let's do it again and try it faster. And then we do it again and again. And then we thought, what if we do all of the game like that? So I started speedrunning co-op.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then on the side, I just started speedrunning solo. Then I got bored. Then I stopped. And then started helping Star. And I just came back to solo and started playing.
I guess the biggest thing is that my favorite game, well, when I was younger, obviously I fluctuated around with a ton of Nintendo games. And I remember the story goes something like I was like a 10-year-old kid. And of course, Minecraft was a huge thing in like 2012 or whatever. um, saw a couple YouTubers, and one day they played like a Portal 2 co-op map, and I fell in love with it. I thought Portal 2 was the coolest game ever, so I ended up getting the game for my
What was like the
10th
big appeal to
birthday.
you?
And I ended up really, really liking the game. Obviously, as a child, I mean, um, didn't really have avenues to buy more games, so I had this video game and I really liked it, so I just continued playing it and playing it. And Portal 2 specifically has this challenge mode feature where it lets you play through levels, and it will actually time how fast it takes you to play the level, and it will tell you like, oh, you can compare against your Steam friends. It'll
Yeah.
give you like what percentile you were in compared to the global leaderboards, and I thought it was super cool. So I just kind of kept playing the challenge mode levels, trying to improve my times.
Obviously, everyone starts out, for lack of a better word, really bad. Is
Oh,
there?
no kidding.
Well,
No kidding.
And I'm pretty sure everyone, like what I'm experiencing right now, I'm pretty sure everyone hits that wall at some point where it's like you're not really progressing. It's kind of like you're stuck in this rut. Was
Mhm.
there anything that kept you from saying fuck it and just moving on to something else, or it should
Oh
just get you
my
keep?
god. Um, I wouldn't say that there's an object. I think my main trouble with speedrunning, like at least when I began, was, I wanted to go fast and I wanted to get that, to be better than the average layperson playing this video game that admittedly, like even if you don't know like what Portal 2 is, you know someone who has played it. But I think one of my problems was that there wasn't like an actual, you weren't attaining anything. You weren't really going for anything. In some cases you're speedrunning for, a trophy, a prize. In some cases, if you take a look at integrated sports and all that, it's like, there's playoffs you can get into. With speedrunning, you're racing yourself. There's no one.
Yeah.
You can choose to compare against somebody else, but there's not something to like strive for unless you set that goal yourself.
Mhm.
So it's really good for your mental goals, but it's also really, if you don't have that mindset of I'm going to make a goal, then go get that goal, it becomes really, really difficult. And I didn't have that mindset until like a ways in. If I look at my older Portal 2 runs, I was just following the tutorial, seeing what I could do, and I brought it down to like a 128, which isn't unreasonable. My goal at the time was a sub 130, so it was all right.
Yeah.
And then I hit kind of a plateau because I didn't learn anything new. I was just trying to see what I could do with what I had. And so that was a full year between, a 1 minute improvement. And then I completely stopped playing the game for a while. Like I was focused on making music. I was focused on, getting other brands working. I was focused on getting schoolwork up, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the other things is that like you have to not let it take control of you.
It becomes
Because because you're like,
becomes it starts to like kind of overtake your life at a point if you're
that
that
goal
obsessed.
is the like number one priority, and you don't and you learn how to set those priorities, of course, after you do it often, again and again and again and again. But it's really like it's nuts to me to think, I only really started playing the game again 8 months ago, and I went from there to just grinding out times. That's where the learning curve happens, because once you actually like put in the hours, once you have the time, you do get a lot of work in.
Yeah,
It's just you have to, make those hours work with what you have already.
what do you think was the biggest hurdle that you faced then, or still face now, at least?
Motivation.
Damn, that's real.
So like I want to play, but damn, YouTube is kind of interesting. So I just don't play.
It's fair enough. Do you ever get like a mental block during a run?
What do you mean?
As in, like, do you ever get like discouraged during a run? Like say like you're in the red, but it's like maybe like 10 or 20 seconds. Like you have the time save, but it's just there, and you're staring
It's
at it.
it's not the fact that like I'm in the red, but like what happened most of the time is I get green and like just the level after which I never missed, I missed it like with the same amount, but just like go back and forth. So my timer, like if you see my PVs are like plus in 1 minute, minus 1 minute, plus 1 minute, minus 1 minute. Damn.
Yeah, it,
So
it
yeah,
it's
that's really
definitely it
so
definitely
that's why I
hurts.
stopped getting my timer and really helped my morale.
I mean, everyone has their hurdles. So what do you think was the biggest one for you when you started running? Like seriously.
Um, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I feel like when I started speedrunning, I don't really have like an inspirational story of like, yeah, one day I'm gonna be the best at it, or one day I'm gonna have a Twitch channel or YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I just kind of did it and see where it took me. So I'm incredibly surprised I've gotten this far, not only in terms of like leaderboards, but in terms of like followers and things like that.
Yeah. Congrats on
Like,
the 30,000 on YouTube, by the way.
oh, thank you so much. Yeah. But I think if I had to attribute anything to a challenge, it's got to be like it's definitely more of a mental aspect where a lot of times you have to contribute to playing game even necessarily when you don't want to. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but like
Hmm.
um I don't know how to explain this, but the idea of that obviously I've been running Portal 2 for years and years now. And what's great about speedrunning is that it's fun. If you're just getting started or you're still kind of learning, you can kind of pick and choose what super hard, super cool strategies you want to pick up, and if something's too hard, you don't have to do it. I'm at the point where I am trying to compete for these world records, and to do that, I have to pick up all of the fastest strats. So even if a certain glitch or something isn't fun to me, if it makes me hate the game more for whatever reason, I kind of still have to go through and kind of fight my desires to just not do it because at the end of the day excuse me, seconds are seconds and you got to save them.
Kind of leading into the whole community aspect, how would you
Mhm.
think you would describe, in a sense, like the not just like the Portal 2 like speedrunning community, but I guess speedrunning community is like a whole, like in a general sense.
Yeah, I've never met a speedrunner that wasn't a good person. And I know that there are, there are variances from that rule. There are, you know, people that that I wouldn't necessarily want to associate with. But there's no one in the speedrunning community that I've ever met that has been, deliberately unkind, that has been, not helpful in any way. I think the people there, kind of like what I was talking about just a little earlier, we all have that shared mindset. We all have, this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna do it, and you're not doing it together, right? You're racing against the people that are helping you, but when you have that mindset and you recognize that you're sharing that goal, I think it's really nice to have a community around you, and I think a lot of other people have realized that as well. When I look at a speedrunning community, if I pop into like some random Twitch stream, um, it's never been abrasive. It's never been
Like you've never been like an outsider. It's really welcoming.
no, you're never an outsider. That's exactly it. And part of that might be the fact that I make friends real easy. I will pop in your voice chat and find out whatever it is you're talking about, whether you like it or not. But that's not. I think you phrased it exactly right. You're never gonna be on the outside of a speedrunning situation because those people want to help you.
How would you think you describe like the whole greater speedrunning community, or maybe just Portal 2 if that's you're fine with?
Yeah, that's more. Well, it's not toxic. Like everybody want to help everyone. Like I got rated by Kent Steven, like former world record owner,
Mhm.
and like if I ask help, I have I have help from everyone.
So you play a lot of not only Portal 2, even though that's what I would say you're mainly known for at this point, but you also do Orange Box runs, Celeste. You've done Dishonored and Mirror's Edge in the past. How would you describe the greater speedrunning community as you know it?
Oh, speedrunning is incredible. I've always said that, like, one thing about me is that even though I guess it hasn't been true lately, I definitely have gotten a bit more popularity. But even if I'm not like the most popular speedrunner, I feel like I know a lot of speedrunners. I talk to a lot of people in the Super Mario Odyssey community, people who speedrun Undertale, Hollow Knight. I know some top Mario 64 runners, although I'm not at greatest friendship levels with them. I guess friendship level sounds weird, but obviously, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean by
People
that.
who speedrun are amazing because it's the way I always put it. Speedrunning, it's everyone who speedruns is kind of a nerd, and the thing about nerds is that if you talk to them about the right thing, they just won't shut up. I always say that, like, people at the gym are just fitness nerds. I mean, like, I always like I never actually got into like lifting or actually going to the gym frequently, but I did do a track, and even if I wasn't the best at it, the best people on the team, or even when we did meets and traveled around, the best people on other teams, if you just started talking about events, it didn't matter how good you are, how interested you are, doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter how good you are, where you come from. You're just awesome, just sharing that interest and talking about
Mhm.
experience.
Yeah. If there's any, what do you think is probably the one thing that like newer runners, even like experienced runners, like tend to trip up on a lot, whether it be like a mindset type thing?
Don't get mad about your runs. I don't think about it in terms of this run is bad. And there's a lot of really good information out there on why speedrunners have that mentality, on why people will say this run is bad, when in fact it is still, even if it's bad to my standard, it is still like 131st in the world.
Mhm.
It only gets you more mad when you're mad. That's one of the few things that your brain doesn't know how to manage, like in any circumstance. Is when you're angry, you just keep being angry. So what I do a lot of, and what I like to try and emulate for people getting into the speedrunning scene, is don't get mad at your splits. If you're red, you're red. You can reset, you can do it again, but that's your decision. That's it's completely up to you, and that's not anything that we need to be upset about. You can go one more time. You got all the time in the world.
What do you think is like a huge mistake that most like new runners and even experienced runners tend to make?
I think the biggest thing is that obviously, when you first get into speedrun, you might look at a lot of world record speedruns because,
Mhm.
I mean,
They're
it's kind of a
impressive.
phenomenon. I like to say is like world record culture. It's the idea that, at least if you're talking about publicity wise, there are two ways to like get publicity in like speedrunning, which is like to do a marathon speedrun at like your games done quick or your ESAs, or to get a world record. I feel like those are the two like quote unquote mainstream avenues to get popular through speedrunning. And a lot of people, when they start speedrunning, they just look towards the world record. They want to match what the world record does. They want to be as good as the world record, and that is just an impossible goal.
Yeah.
It's when you're starting out, it's totally all about having fun, picking up the game, learning new things. It's obvious, just like learning anything. If you try to, again, I compared chess earlier, but if you try to copy the chess moves that a grandmaster does, or just any other really good player, you're going to not understand anything. You're just probably going to get completely lost. You need to build some foundations, build some fundamentals, and just have fun in the process of learning.
Yeah, that sounds like great advice for anyone. I know for me, one of my big things is I get to, and like I focus too much on the splits, which is a bad habit I need to break. Especially because you get to that mindset of I know I can do better than that, and it's just a downhill spiral.
That advice of like don't compare to world record. That's very valid for like people who are just starting out or people who are still fairly new. But I say to people who are experienced, whether it be you've run the game for a bit and you have a PB that you're struggling to beat, or if you're like even someone like me who's trying to compete for world record times, I always just recommend doing no reset runs, playing the game full way through, even if you know you're so deep in the red that you can't come back.
Mhm.
It's just really good to play through the full game, kind of get your muscles warmed up and just kind of feel comfortable with the game you're playing, because I feel like so many people get trapped in the mindset of, if I'm not green by this point in the run, I can't PB. And then it comes to the point that when you are green at that point in the run, when you feel like you have a chance to personal best, you've never played that part of the game in like 2 weeks and you have no idea what you're doing. It's all just a little bit more rustier than it should, you know?
Yeah, definitely. This last part, just promote anything about you. Anything and everything. I'll put it in the video and links and all that good stuff.
Oh, you know how fun it is when I do this. I deleted the big notepad, the big notepad text file that I had on my desktop of every single place where I am, But besides the point, I'm base driven. You can find me on any major media streaming platform: Spotify, SoundCloud, Deezer, Apple Music. If you have it, I'm probably on it. I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv/BSSDRVN. That's base driven with no vowels. We'll see you over there. And if I don't, I hope I see you in my stream notifications.
So that's my last question. Last thing for you to do is just promote yourself.
YouTube, Msushi, Twitch, Msushi, Twitter, Msushi with an underscore. That's about it.
No more 100.
No more 100.
Again, big thank you to Msushi, Base Driven and Killer, for helping me out with this video. I couldn't have done it, even though it stretches it to like the 25-minute mark. I hope someone finds this interesting, because I know I do. Since I answered all the questions, might as well leave you with some advice. One, if you're gonna speedrun a game, make sure that you understand that it's gonna be hard at first. You shouldn't pick it up and expect to do well, because it takes a bit. Now, don't get me wrong, your first run is going to be bad, but I say that in the sense of someone who's been doing it for a few months and saying that my first run was 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's bad for my standards. However, if you're doing a Portal 2 speedrun and your first run is 2 hours and 20 minutes, that's not bad. In fact, I would say that's above average. 2, don't get caught up in your splits. If you try to take this seriously, it's very easy to look at it and see that you're in the red and think that you're just going downhill. But really, if you just focus your game, I can't tell you the amount of times where I've done no reset runs and I've been a minute and a half behind coming out of like chapter 3 of Portal. And for some reason, I just pick it up and I get like a 2-minute PB. I did that. My PB now is a no reset run. It's a 128, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, I could, but like circumstances being for what it is, you get what I mean. 3, if you really want to learn more strats that aren't just online, join Discords. I'm gonna put the Portal to Discords down in the description because they are some of the most helpful people out there. And if you don't feel like joining a Discord or talking in it, it's fine. They have help channels that have strat videos just posted almost not daily, but like there's new stuff being found all the time. We just got a new route and propulsion intro that skips the entire first half of the map. So you never know. But if you don't feel like joining a Discord, you can also go into Twitch and look and watch people who also run the same game you do. Trust me, as someone who really enjoys this stuff, there's been a lot of people I've gone into streams and I've seen do like a slight optimization or a slight change to a route that I wouldn't have thought of, but seeing them do it, it helps me not only gain a bigger part of the community, seeing new people run the game, but it also helps me understand either I'm failing or somewhere where I can implement into my run. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I did enjoy talking to people and creating it. For the most part, I had to re-record this entire thing because my footage got corrupted, and I did not want to re-record half of a Portal 2 run at 10 at night. I'm sorry. not gonna do it. But I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leaving a like or subscribing or just commenting and tell me that you liked the video really helps. It really helps me know that I'm doing something right. Especially since it's a little different than what I normally do. My last video was completely different. Even though I still think that's my best video. That's completely different from what I'm doing right here. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm filming this currently Monday the 11th of January, 2021. Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever I go live next, which you should follow and turn on notifications for that. Just so you know, I'm doing Minecraft of subscribers. So if you subscribe to me now, between now and when I start, or even when I'm still doing it, it was a milestone for 10 subs. I'll let any new people join if they sub. I don't care. I want people to have a good time. But I'll see you there, hopefully. That would be leak_TTV. You can find it in the description. It should be somewhere on the screen. It should also be like a link in my... It's somewhere. I know that. I have a Twitter I try to use sometimes. I'm trying to figure out how to use that more. Also in the description, Leaka backwards and another underscore, because everything I wanted was taken. But I think that should be it. I hope you enjoyed again. Have a good day.